Look, big year coming up. Hopefully, Cody Rhodes finally finishing the story at WrestleMania. And some big shows coming up for WWE. They're going to Berlin, of course. You sense that's going to be a big show for Gunther, for example. They're going to France. They're obviously going to put the mega French star Baron Corbin inexplicably front and centre of that one. And they are also going to Australia for Elimination Chamber. And people would assume people like Grayson Waller or Rhea Ripley would be the stars of that show. Nana, in the words of LA Knight. I'm manifesting this more than anything. Please, please give me a return of these two megastars in Perth, Australia in bloody February, right? The women's tag team title scene has gone awry, arguably from the moment that they lost the tag titles, in my opinion. Kind of peaked around WrestleMania 35, and then, that's when it fell off, is when they dropped the tag titles. Don't get me wrong, I'm big fans of Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, who I think have done a decent job of establishing themselves as, gits, as champions. And you've got the beginnings of a tag team title scene, your Carter and Chance, your Fire and Dawns as a tag team, but you need a flagship, you need one of the best tag teams arguably in the world, and that's these two right here. They've gone off and they've done their own thing. They've obviously done family stuff, they've gone and worked for other promotions, but it was one of the dumbest releases in my opinion, one of the dumbest decisions arguably after the decision to split the two of them up. Idiotic. It will be not just a huge pop in the Wilborn household, a huge pop in the Australia country hold when these two return at Elimination Chamber. Billy Bloody Kay, Peyton Bloody Royce, they are truly, in a word, iconic!
I can't tell if this is a wild prediction or a really obvious one, but Logan Paul as world champion. I know, it stings, it doesn't seem right, but also you all know that it is kind of right. As much as he might be, I don't know what I'm allowed to say here, a scumbag, he is still frustratingly talented between the ropes and a born heel, obviously. Him capturing the United States title this year just felt like the beginning of that. They obviously always wanted to put a belt on him. They actually haven't rushed straight to the main title picture, which is good, but I think that's probably going to happen probably later in the year, like a SummerSlam or something. I don't necessarily think... Well, actually, by this point, in theory, Roman's been beaten by Cody. How twisted would it be for, Logan Paul to be the guy that beats Cody Rhodes? It could be the World Heavyweight title. It could be the undisputed whatever title. But I think Logan Paul is going to be one of the top two guys, one of the top two champions in WWE at some point in 2024. Whether you like it or not, it unfortunately makes marketing sense for WWE, even if it's just for a few weeks. The headlines of YouTuber Logan Paul is WWE champion or whatever. How could they resist that?
So if you saw our video about the predictions that we got horribly wrong last year, you will know that I said that I thought Simon Miller was going to wrestle for AEW, and I'm going to double down and do it again. 2024 is going to be his year. At some point, he will have some match for AEW, whether it's even like a dark match or something like that. He's going to wrestle for AEW. I believe in him. He can do it, god damn it. 2024 is going to be the year of Simon Miller.
I think 2024 is going to see a large talent exodus in WWE on account of how stingy and kind of cheap their new owners Endeavor are. The past few years have been an era of, hey, AEW is offering them a contract, let's double their pay and triple the length. I think that era is over. I think that the era of any wrestler with a contract renewal scoring a gigantic, awesome payday, which they should because they work really hard, they have a really hard job, and they deserve all the money in the world. Maybe not all the money in the world, I'd like a little bit of that. But I think that era is long gone purely on the habits of Endeavor. When they took over the UFC, one of the first things they did was shed nostalgic old acts like it's fake, like Randy Couture, who a UFC MMA legend, was a member of the broadcasting team. Off you go, pal. More recently, we've seen it with Francis Ngannou, the best heavyweight fighter in the entire world, who just almost beat, was it Tyson Fury? He almost beat his ass in a professional boxing match. That's how good he is. And they let him go. He went, hey, can I have this money? They went, no, we'll give you that money. And he went, well, no, bugger off. It's completely madness. And I think we'll see the same approach with WWE. There's names like Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, Becky Lynch, who have been speculated as being on expiring contracts. I don't think any of them are off the table. I think literally the only person in this company, maybe the only two people in this company who are truly off the table are Roman Reigns and maybe Cody Rhodes. If anyone asks for more than Endeavour is willing to pay for, I think they will quietly let them go into the night. The saddest thing of all is that I don't think it will hurt the company one bit. WWE as a brand is a gigantic draw at this stage in history. It is a money-making machine. And just like, Francis Ngannou has to go away and do silly sports washing fights in Saudi Arabia or whatever, WWE will deny their stars the right to do that on Crown Jewel by getting rid of them because Endeavour are cheap.
Prediction for 2024 is so hard. So what I'm going to say is, I actually think I'm going to be wrong with this, but the key word, again, I'm going to underline it, is bold. So it has to be something out there. Like, I actually think Logan Paul could be a world champion by the end of 2024. Somebody else has taken it. So I'm going to say, for no reason whatsoever, other than that it would break the internet, that Drew McIntyre will join AEW. We know at the moment he hasn't signed a new contract. It's up. As I'm recording this, he's on his amazing heel run and probably should become a world champion. So I'll look at it this way. If he is not a world champion by March, I think he should win it at the Royal Rumble. So if he is not a world champion by March and he hasn't dethroned Seth Rollins, that may have already happened by the time you're seeing this, we don't even know. I'm going to assume it's because he hasn't signed the contract. Sounds like a wrestling angle, and WWE has decided, well, we can't put the belt on you then, because you're about to go somewhere else. And his first feud is going to be with MJF. And on that same note, I don't think MJF will jump ship to WWE in 2024, because that's always been the big argument, the bidding war of 2024. I think he has re-signed with AEW, and he'll be there for maybe 1 year or 2 years more, and then maybe longer, but maybe the contract negotiations have been extended for 12 months or something like that. So yes, I'm saying that in 2024, I don't even believe this, we are going to get MJF versus Drew McIntyre feud. I'm trying to think if there's one, and Stone Cold Steve Austin will return. There you go. He's going to have another match against Sami Zayn. It's not going to happen. But Sami's going to return. Actually, what I will say too is I don't think The Rock will have a match at WrestleMania 40, but The Rock will do something physical in the 12-month period between January and December. So not necessarily a match or a contest, but much like he did with Eric Rowan, I think The Rock will do something like that. And also, I'm just throwing them out here now, if The Rock doesn't wrestle at WrestleMania 40, I think in terms of his in-ring days that they're over, and he has actually retired, and we'll announce that, not for a long old while. I just think he's too busy. He's too busy with Hollywood, but my number one is the best feud of the year, Drew McIntyre versus MJF. I know. I would hate me too. But that's what the comments are for. I'm full of lies.
Oh, you want a bold prediction for 2024, do you, in the wrestling world? Well, I've got one for you. What I think is going to happen at this year's WrestleMania coming up, I think we're finally going to get the next chapter in the CM Punk MJF rivalry, but it won't be in AEW, it will be in WWE at WrestleMania. That's going to happen, in my mind, because, yeah, I know, it's far from confirmed at this point that CM Punk is going to go to WWE, but I don't know. Stranger things have happened. There's been a few little rumblings, a few little hints here or there. You just don't know with these kind of things. If he just decides one day that, you know what, I'm kind of done sitting on the couch with Larry and just enjoying the money I've already made. I just fancy getting back in the sports entertainment sphere, just out of spite, really. I want to just get into wrestling again, just annoy Tony Khan. He might go and do it. He might jump over there and go and do it. And then you've got the bidding war of 2024 as well. What if Maxwell suddenly and shockingly turns down Tony Khan, moves to WWE, pulls a Cody, and then you just jump straight in. Just plug it in for the road to WrestleMania. You got CM Punk, MJF. People know the feud, and even if people haven't seen it in AEW, you could just use a little the odd line here or there. It'll just make sense. These two have got that chemistry. You understand it as soon as you see them together. You're like, this. I get this. They hate each other. Let's just see them fight. So I would want to see them fight in Philadelphia, and I feel like it's going to happen. Nah, I've said it. It just, for me, my spidey sense just tells me we're going to see Salt of the Earth versus Best in the World inside of a packed out stadium. It's going to main event probably night one because, you know, Roman Reigns night two, all that kind of stuff. But I can see it happening. It should happen. Do it. They couldn't. Could they?
I'm not sure if it entirely classifies as bold because we've been here before. December 2019, you have that December 18th Dark Order episode of Dynamite. that receives widespread heavy criticism. Tony Khan takes it on board, and over the holiday season, which starts for him in July apparently, quietly disbanded the original creative booking committee that was comprised of himself, Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks. Obviously their input was still sought, but he had full editorial control from around January 1st, 2020 onwards. So we've been here before, and every rumbling suggests, at least in terms of my sort of like belly, that sort of like that feeling, that it's going to happen again. And what has happened over the course of 2023 is that perhaps gotten to by the worst people who should never have been listened to about the stories discourse and the cinema comparisons that we read or heard about constantly throughout the first half of 2023. AEW took a different direction, started playing with more melodrama. Yes, I know it was a huge part. It's the elite. It's all elite wrestling, for Christ's sake, but like a lot more stories outside of their purview centered around friendship and all the rest of it. A lot of skits, pre-taped skits that almost broke the universe of AEW, and very broad, wacky characters in which the props overtook any kind of nuance. And what's happened is that this vision is being diluted through the addition of several members of creative. It feels like massive. Like there's various names who said, they're going to join and tighten things up and continuity wise, and this respected actual talent is going to double as a creative sort of consultant in the room, and he's going to listen to X wrestler, and it just isn't working. If anything, it's gotten worse, and it should have gotten better. If you look at the ways in which Willow Nightingale, I love her, but the amount of title shots she got across like October and the matches that led to it made no sense. It was a similar case with like Taya Valkyrie on the Canadian tour. Just those details. If anything, if you have more people in the room, there should be more people who point out the logic gaps. That never happened. The vision's all over the place. I'm recording this on the just in the wake of the opening fixtures of the Continental Classic. The perfect example of two different shows. There are two different visions. They are colliding drastically. It's all very ugly. Look, the ratings have done okay, but the houses aren't great whatsoever. The vibe, more importantly, is just gone completely. And I think there'll be a period of introspection again. And even though he's probably very stretched, like Tony Khan should bet on himself. In a company that is obsessed with betting imagery, and that's sort of the origin story of AEW, he needs to bet on himself, because honestly, I think if you look at the period between Full Gear 2020 and 2021, when it was virtually all Tony Khan, that was the best period of storytelling over the long term they've ever done. And I think he just got a little bit doubtful of himself, listened to the wrong people. He got the help. Remember when everyone was saying, Tony Khan, he needs some help with the booking. He needs some help with the booking. He sought help, he recruited help, and guess what? The booking fell off. I think Tony Khan needs to believe in himself a little bit more, and I think if he does this, then the product could earnestly be described as great.
Well, my bold prediction for this 2024 is that Cody Rhodes will not finish his story at WrestleMania 40. For those who've seen the movie Smiley, I did it for the lols. But seriously, would it really be that unfathomable for Cody Rhodes not to finish his story and beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40 for the undisputed WWE Universal title? I mean, with WWE nowadays dismissing Bob Backlund's first reign as world champion for some reason, whatever that reason is, that means by WWE logic, the only people ahead of Roman Reigns in terms of longest reigning world champions are Hulk Hogan and Bruno Sammartino. Now, Bruno Sammartino is not going to be caught. Bruno Sammartino's first reign as world champ was 2,800 odd days. That's over 7.5 years. So that's not happening. But Hulk Hogan, his longest reign was 1,474 days, which, if Roman Reigns is to catch that, he would need to keep hold of the undisputed WWE Universal title until somewhere around about August or September, around about SummerSlam time. That's not that far. I mean, after WrestleMania 40. And also, I mean, bear in mind that after WrestleMania 39, when Roman beat Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns did not have a title defense until SummerSlam of 2023. So if Roman was to beat Cody again at WrestleMania 40, or beat whoever at WrestleMania 40, then, and if he didn't wrestle again until 2024 SummerSlam, he's right there in that region of beating Hulk Hogan's longest reigning record. So, I mean, I'm sure Cody Rhodes will finish his story. I mean, the internet would lose its collective mind once again, and even more insanely than it did last time if that didn't happen. But Roman Reigns holding on to the undisputed WWE Universal title until he beats Hulk Hogan's record, it should not be entirely ruled out. And if it does happen, hey, you heard it here first, and I'm taking full credit for it.